Hezbollah on Sunday exchanged the heaviest cross-border strikes yet since their ongoing conflict began after the 7th of October, but stopped short of an all-out war. Now, Israel said it preemptively targeted dozens of Hezbollah launch sites before the Iran-backed militant group actually fired hundreds of rockets at Israeli military targets, which it said was the first phase of its retaliation for Israel's assassination of a senior leader. But this exchange could impair Sunday's high-stakes Gaza ceasefire negotiations in Cairo, but both sides signaled they were backing down for now, dampening fears of a wider war. We have a string of reactions lined up for you. Listen in.
I am deeply concerned about the violence and chaos spreading throughout the region. This just underscores the emergency. We need to put an end to this war. We need to stop all the bombing, get the hostages back home, spend real resources on humanitarian relief in Gaza, and most of all, give a hard shove to both parties in order to keep them at the negotiating table. It's time for a two-state solution where Palestinians have self-determination, where the Israelis can be guaranteed security, and that we have a lasting peace going forward.
We have been concerned about the conflict escalating into an all-out regional war since October 7th, and we have worked round the clock with partners and allies, moving military assets, engaging in intensive diplomacy, both publicly and privately behind the scenes, to avert that outcome. We continue to work to avert that outcome. And our hope is that the events of last night do not spill out into an escalation that leads to regional war.
In a major escalation increasing the fears of larger regional conflict, Israel and Hezbollah exchanged heavy fire using missiles, rockets and drones in one of the biggest clashes in more than 10 months of cross-border attacks. Israel claims preemptive strikes that struck thousands of rockets inside southern Lebanon thwarted a bigger attack being planned by Iran-backed militia Hezbollah. Israeli military says Hezbollah was planning to launch these rockets into Israel, which prompted the nation to declare a 48-hour state of emergency, warning citizens to expect incoming strikes. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu assured the state of Israel will do anything to ensure the security and protection of its citizens.
אני מבקש מכם, אזרחי ישראל, להישמע להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו נחושים לעשות הכל כדי להגן על המדינה שלנו, להחזיר את תושבי הצפון בבטחה לבתיהם, ולהמשיך לקיים כלל פשוט. מי שפוגע בנו, אנחנו פוגעים בו.
Soon after, Hezbollah announced it had launched an attack on Israel as an initial response to the killing of one of its top commanders in an Israeli airstrike in Beirut last month. Hezbollah called the attack phase 1 of a series of retaliatory strikes. However, both sides have since announced the conclusion of their military missions, stating only military targets were attacked. At least 3 people were killed in the strikes on Lebanon, while there were no reports of casualties in Israel. The heavy exchange comes amidst ongoing high-level talks in Cairo, Egypt, aimed at evolving a truce proposal that would end the now nearly 11-month-long war on Gaza and release the scores of hostages held by Hamas. Hezbollah had previously stated it will continue its attack until a ceasefire deal is finalized. The strikes impacted several flights to Tel Aviv and Beirut on Sunday, which were either delayed or suspended. Tensions are at an all-time high as the fresh strikes threaten to engulf the wider region in a bloody conflict. The focus shifts to the crucial ceasefire talks in hope of achieving the so far elusive peace and stability in the battle-torn region. With Sami Afsar, Bureau Report for NDTV World.
לפני 3 שבועות אנחנו חיסלנו את הרמטכ"ל שלו, היום סיכלנו את תוכנית התקיפה שלו, נסראללה בביירות וחמינאי בטהרן. צריכים לדעת שזהו צעד נוסף בדרך לשנות את המצב בצפון ולהחזיר את תושבינו בבטחה לבתיהם, ואני חוזר ואומר, זה לא סוף פסוק.
Well, Middle East expert Faisal Asseghaf joins us now for further clarity on the current situation. Faisal, thanks so much for making time for us on the World 24/7. Now, some argue that Israel does not have the stamina for another front and Hezbollah cannot risk its military and financial assets in Lebanon. But what's your assessment? You think both sides have compelling reasons not to go to war right now?
Yes, what we saw yesterday between Hamas and Israel, between Hezbollah and Israel, saw that both sides so restrained to open all-out war among them, because Hezbollah right now is different between comparing with the Hezbollah when the war between Hezbollah and Israel erupted in 2006. Hezbollah now is more danger and fearful for Israel. As we know, a few months ago, 3 Hezbollah drones have recorded 3 times has recorded strategic and vital assets and infrastructure in Israel, like the military base and also naval base and Haifa airport. I think both sides realize if the war and open all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah erupted, that will cause massive destruction for both sides.
Right, but meanwhile, political watchers actually argue that if Israel and Hezbollah wanted to go for an all-out war, it would have happened a long time ago. Each side would have welcomed the discussion of each other. But the time has not been right so far for either of them to plunge into a full-scale war. What do you think are the reasons? What's causing this hesitation?
Yes, the hesitation because both sides, they realize how powerful each other. I mean, Israel is a powerful country in military context, and also Hezbollah. As we know, what Hezbollah did yesterday, they only fire Katyusha rockets, not other missiles that have powerful distraction, like Fajr or like Iskander. They had it.
So is it fair at the moment, Faisal, to say that Benjamin Netanyahu has good reason to keep Israel in a state of conflict, as it sort of helps fend off a reckoning with the electorate and the courts where he faces corruption charges?
Yes. I think what Netanyahu have done during this over 10 months is only to keep his private interest to keep his position in the power as a prime minister. That's why he now is using a new strategy to kill Hamas leaders like Ismail Haniyeh and also Hezbollah leaders, Hassan Nasrallah right hand, Fuad Shukur in Beirut. I think that both incidents have raised the popularity of Netanyahu in Israel, but the possibility of the all-out war between Hezbollah and Israel still open as long as the war in Gaza still continue.